Get the test guide and the Gold Digger's Guide combo course for 40% off. Plus, get my 25-hour audio course, How to Master the Game, free this weekend only. Use coupon code GOLD40. One of the most pervasive things that perpetually single women in the Western world tend to repeat again and again is, "I'm a great catch." Now, there are a couple of interesting things that come to mind when I hear this from a woman. Number one, you don't get to decide what your dating market value is. The market does. And this goes for both men and women. And women can say they're a great catch all they want to, but at the end of the day, men decide whether or not she is a great catch. Plus, people who know that they are or are not something don't need to broadcast it to the world. If a man knows that he has a big bone, he doesn't go around telling people, "I have an 11-inch sausage." If a woman knows that she is hot, she doesn't have to tell people, "I am so hot," because it's obvious to everyone around her. When a woman verbally describes herself in a favorable way, better than 9 times out of 10, she is either lying or she's wrong. So when a woman says out loud, "I'm a great catch," she says it to convince herself that she is indeed a great catch, more than she is saying it to convince people who know her. Number two, the second thing that comes to mind is what you are all thinking right now, which is, if you're such a great catch, then why are you single? Well, the answer, of course, is that she isn't. And how do we know this? Simple. Women who are great catches get caught, and that's all there is to it. Anytime a woman declares herself a great catch and a man disagrees with her, she goes absolutely mental. Not because she believes that he is wrong, but because she knows he is right. She doesn't want him blowing her cover and exposing her as the banana-gobbling, sausage-smoking, bone-collecting E-ro spelled backwards she really is. So in order to keep her facade of purity, as well as being able to sleep at night, she fights tooth and nail to make sure the world sees her through the rose-colored glasses she wants them to see her through. Women will do and say anything they have to make sure that they are not exposed, which includes lying to themselves, even when the truth is staring them right in the face. Which leads me to today's post on everybody's favorite website, bold.com. Today's article is entitled, 12 Reasons You're Single Even Though You're a Catch. Now, it's interesting that the title says you're a catch rather than you're a good catch. It's almost as though the author, Amanda Shattle, knows that the women who read this know the truth about themselves and are looking for yet more false validation to keep them from getting depressed about the fact that they are a catch, but for some reason keep getting thrown back. But I digress. Let's get right into it. You're awesome, but you're single, the article starts. What are you doing wrong? Absolutely nothing. Here are 12 reasons you are single even though you are a catch. So this article starts the way that one would expect an article to start on this website, and that, of course, is with a delusional opening salvo. When she says, quote, "You are awesome, but you are single," is a misnomer. If a woman is awesome, then she isn't single. As stated before, women who are great catches get caught. Then, of course, she removes any and all responsibility and accountability for any given woman's station in life by saying that they are doing absolutely nothing wrong. Never mind that women lie to their boyfriends and husbands as a matter of habit. Never mind that they cheat on their boyfriends and husbands as a matter of second nature, and then blame their significant others for the demise of their relationships. Oh no, they're doing absolutely nothing wrong. This is one of the many reasons modern women continue to devolve. They are constantly being encouraged to engage in promiscuous behavior in relationships, but then told that they are doing nothing wrong when they ask themselves why they are single. Women never want the truth when it comes to their own dating market value. Well, the market has responded very well in this regard, in that it is not profitable to tell women what they need to hear, whereas telling them what they want to hear will make any person, man or woman, wealthy beyond their wildest dreams. Just ask Dr. Phil, Steve Harvey, Derek Jackson, and Matthew Hussey. These guys are all living proof that there is absolutely no money in being honest with women. Number one, the article continues, you don't believe in settling. Do you know what type of people settle, Amanda asks? The ones who think they are running out of time to find something real, and those who think true love isn't in the cards for them. However, that's not the case for you. You know he's out there, and you're not settling for anything less. Well, how about that? Miss Chattel actually told the truth. The kinds of women who settle are the ones who are running out of time. Women who collected bones throughout their 20s who are now in their mid-30s with 3 illegitimate kids by 3 degenerate men most certainly are out of time. Where she lies is when she says, quote, however, that's not the case for you. And therein lies the problem. She's convincing women who are clearly out of time that they still have plenty of time. And when women affirm their delusions by consuming articles like this, it absolutely destroys any chance they have at true happiness. Deep down, the 39-year-old knows she will never find true happiness with a high-value man that loves and respects her as much as she loves and respects him. She knows that she has passed up countless men to indulge in the bed-hopping escapades, foolishly thinking that they would still be waiting for her when she was done eating cucumber salads. But when the men who used to beat her brakes off in her 20s no longer even look in her general direction, the truth hits her right in the face. But because today's women are allergic to the truth, they cling to their delusions so they can stave off getting prescribed antidepressants for a few more years. And by the way, I will never settle is womanese for I will never settle down. Funny thing is, they always end up settling in the end to avoid sleeping in a cold bed every night. Number 2, you're waiting to meet someone worthy of your awesomeness. You're amazing, she says. So why would you even bother being with someone who doesn't equal you in that? I mean, seriously, it'll totally be worth the wait. There's that stubborn, unwritten law of economics again. You know, the one that states that you don't get to determine your own value. The reason Ferraris have a higher price tag than Fords is because the market has shown a willingness to pay more for a Ferrari than they are a Ford. If Henry Ford II said to himself back in the 1960s, I can charge just as much as Enzo Ferrari charges, and price the 62 Ford Galaxy the same as the Ferrari 330 LM, the Ford Motor Company, as we know it today, would cease to exist. Why? Because the market will determine very quickly that it will not pay the Ferrari price for Ford quality. This is literally what women are asking men to do. Modern women want men to pay the Lamborghini Aventador price for the used '84 Honda Accord. Now, in their defense, they pulled this off for quite a while. Men used to line up around the block just itching to pay 6 figures for a junk bucket with a cracked engine block, a broken fan belt that probably didn't even start. But because men have wised up and stopped going into debt for a car not worth the paper the title is printed on, women have lost their collective minds. This is why they have to continue to tell themselves that they are still a great catch, even though they are being caught and released on a daily basis. Women can call themselves awesome and amazing all they want, but if men don't sign off on their delusions of grandeur, it's all a bunch of BS, and they know it. Number 4, you don't need a man to validate your existence. You might think it'd be nice to have a partner in crime sometimes, she says, but you certainly don't spend all of your time pining after a guy, and you don't feel bad about it either. Instead, you live your own life and don't let it revolve around finding someone. And here we go with the I don't need a man nonsense. I recently did a video about a woman who is Miss Girl Power and I don't need a man and living my best life and all the rest of that. But she had a moment of clarity that turned out to be her coming to grips with the harsh reality that she is likely going to end up alone. Take a look. Single and afraid. This is where Yasmin is now. Let's get started. She says, just being honest. I can scream living my best life till I'm blue in the face, but deep down inside, I feel incomplete without a healthy relationship. I still have sand in my shoes from my latest vacation to Trinidad, and although it was an amazing trip there, there isn't enough ocean views, soca music, Roddy, and punchin' to make me believe I wouldn't have enjoyed it with a bae at my side. It is with an honest heart that I proclaim that despite my, quote, girls run the world rhetoric, I still define my true worth by my ability to get and keep a man. Law number 25 of the 48 Laws of Sharpe states that the more a woman tries to convince you of something, the more likely the opposite is true. And as you just saw and heard, Miss Cebu just verified it. Women have disingenuously embraced the I don't need a man trope for years. And the more they double down, the more they realize they do indeed need a man. A woman's value is based solely upon the value of the man she can attract and lock down and hang on to, as Miss Cebu so eloquently stated. Women inherently know this, but they want the world to think they do not. Take a look at any magazine newsstand. On the men's side, there are magazines about sports, hunting, guns, fitness, image, the list goes on. Look at the woman's side as there is literally nothing but 5 ways to blow his mind in bed, and why isn't he committing and how to turn it around. Hell, even magazines for younger women are packed with love quizzes and how can I tell he likes me articles. What do all of these female-inspired magazines have in common? The pursuit of men. The reason these magazines publish this stuff is because women read that stuff. If they didn't, they wouldn't publish it. Actions speak louder than words, as the saying goes, and there is no better example of this in action when we hear women say 100 different ways that they don't need a man. Number 5, you are too busy living your life. You have to take trips, she says, people to meet, projects to tackle, and you have a goal to go to 30 countries before you turn 30. Your schedule is pretty damn packed. 30 countries before 30 years of age, eh? Well, since actions speak louder than words, allow me to show you what she really means when she talks about wanting to visit a bunch of countries.
I've traveled to so many different countries.
I've slept with a lot of guys in different countries.
Women are always epic when they travel, and age doesn't seem to matter. Whether she's a young, hot college girl on spring break, a married mother of 3 on a girls' trip, or cougars on their How Stella Got Her Groove Back trip, they take copious amounts of when they travel. It never fails. Any woman who's traveled with her girlfriends or alone has been by men around the world.
I rest my case. And by the way, you can get that translation and well over 100 more with the individual volume, Womanese Volume 2, which is available this weekend only. Link in description. Number 6, you're focused on your career. She continues. It may sound like some sort of cop-out or cliche, but this is the 21st century. What woman isn't focused on her career to some degree? You love what you do and you're good at it, and that's worth being proud of for sure. I've never been one to put too much credence in statistics or studies because they can be manipulated to say anything you want them to say. But every once in a while, you will see something and you immediately know that it is 100% true just based on your life experience and by simply looking around. According to Psychology Today, the profile of the most unhappy people in America is a 42-year-old female who is unmarried, has no children, and is in a professional position, such as a doctor, lawyer, and so forth. Now, there's no reason for me to talk about why women who are focused on their careers end up miserable, because that's been done to death. But when something like this comes out, men in this community don't need any data to back it up. We see it all around us every day. Number 7, you've got great friends to distract you from romance. Once you get a boyfriend, she says, the time you spend with your friends is immediately cut in half. Boyfriends are great and all, but friends are a whole other level of great. Now she's trying to pretend that we don't know that women hate each other. She's trying to convince us that being friends with other women is much more fulfilling than being in a relationship of consequence with a man they love and respect. This just goes to show how stupid women think we are. Women today are so clueless about what we know about them that they actually believe that they can convince us that life is just so much greater when they are surrounded by their female friends as opposed to being in a relationship. Never mind that she just said the time you spend with your friends is immediately cut in half. She's not fooling anyone with this. Even the women who read this nonsense shook their heads and probably thought to themselves, I don't know what friend she's talking about. 11 out of 10 women would tell you that being in a relationship is a much better existence than hanging out with her catty, competitive, backstabbing, petty, immature, boyfriend-stealing friends. Women hate each other, gentlemen, and it's because they know each other. That's the bottom line. Never let a woman try to convince you that she'd rather hang out with her friends than hang out with you. Unless, of course, she's planning on cheating on you, which is an entirely different discussion. Number 8, guys aren't as into commitment as they once were. We live in a culture where hooking up seems to take precedence over serious relationships. While hooking up is fun and one-night stands are a blast, it's hard to find commitment in a sea of men who just aren't into it. If this particular case you were single, this is totally out of your control. Did this woman just blame men for the state of the dating market? Did she really just tell women that they are only single because guys don't want to commit? Yes, gentlemen, I'm afraid she did. Let's go to law number 19, sections 2 and 3 of the 48 laws of Sharpe, shall we? Section 2, the second pillar of the 4 pillars of feminism, is to remove all sexual restraints from women while placing them upon men. Section 3, the third pillar of the 4 pillars of feminism, is removing any and all responsibility from women while placing it upon men, while simultaneously removing all authority from men and giving it to women. It wasn't the idea of a man to bring the girl power movement into existence. It wasn't the idea of a man to make hormonal birth control available to women so that they could be sexually irresponsible without having to worry about unwanted pregnancies. It was not the idea of a man to create a culture where hooking up takes precedence over serious relationships. The girl power movement was the idea of a few rebellious, unruly women who thought that it was a good idea to give women unfettered access to the endless buffet of bananas, eggplants, and cucumbers, and packaging it as empowerment. The dating market is what it is because of the girl power movement and that alone. And the womanese movement was started by women. Women wanted sexual freedom, they got it. They wanted access to the workplace, they got that too. They wanted full control of family courts, yep, They got it. They wanted guilt-free promiscuity without the judgmental gauge of society. They got that and then some. Everything the girl power movement demanded has been given to them in spades. Yet, here they are telling us that it's hard to find commitment in a sea of men who just aren't into it. I got news for you, ladies. Men are into commitment, just not with women who have collected bones into the triple figures by the time they're 22 years old. Men don't want commitment from a 35-year-old single mother with 4 kids who all have different fathers. Men don't want commitment with women who act like men. They don't want commitment with women who think it's healthy to cheat on their partners. Women made their bed, but instead of laying in it and accepting the fact that they're responsible for their state in life, they still want to point the finger at men, as if it was our idea to turn women into the petulant, spoiled, aberrant, promiscuous petri dishes they are today. Yeah, try again. Number 9, your confidence is really intimidating. It's true, she says, even the cockiest of men will second-guess themselves before even daring to approach a woman of your caliber. Are you starting to see a recurring theme here? The first paragraph said that they were awesome and could do no wrong. A few paragraphs down called them amazing. And now they're being told that even the most confident men are too scared to approach women of this caliber? What I'm getting at here is that we are seeing the direct result of females being pedestalized for simply existing. Nowhere in this article does it state why women are amazing. Nowhere in this post does it say why they're awesome or why they're high caliber. Nope. It is automatically assumed that they are worthy of pedestalization simply because they were born with 2 X chromosomes. No wonder women are a dumpster fire. Number 10, you need to focus on you first. Before you can share your life with someone else, you first need to know who you are, what you want, and in what direction you're headed. It's not fair to only offer half of yourself to someone when you're still not completely whole. First off, women never have direction. This is why they need men. A man who has himself together will give a woman direction. A woman without a high-value man is directionless. I mean, take a look around. Do you see any single women with direction? Yeah, I didn't think so. Secondly, the only time women ever say, I'm not completely whole, is when they're breaking up with their unsuspecting boyfriends to pursue a relationship with Dave the unemployed garage band guitar player who may or may not live in a van that may or may not be his. Chicks are not this profound, gentlemen. They're not this self-aware, and they're damn sure not deep thinkers. Most of them are simple as a flip phone. They have no idea who or what they are, and pretending to know is just something they do to justify their promiscuous proclivities. So instead of keeping it 100 and just coming to you and saying, hey, I like Dave more than I like you, they attempt to convince you that they had a soul-searching epiphany and realize that she just hasn't found herself yet. Here's an example.
I need to find myself. I need to find the password to my Tinder account.
Number 11, you don't really have time to meet people. You didn't even have time to eat lunch today, she says, let alone set up an online dating profile. In fact, you're not even sure you have time to swipe more than once or twice on Tinder. I can't tell you how many single moms I smashed at the last minute. It's amazing how quickly they can find a sitter when their favorite banana's texting. The point is, women make time for what they want to do. And for her to imply that women don't have time to set up an online dating profile is laughably transparent. Girls spend more time swiping for sausage on Tinder than they do sleeping. Amanda Chattel is clearly a woman who does not realize that we are not this stupid. Jesus Christ. Number 12, you're too in love with the single life. When your life is perfect already, she says, it's hard to want to bring someone else into the mix. While you may want a boyfriend, there's the fact that having one will change the life you've made for yourself. There's nothing wrong with change, but it's also something you need to do on your own time. Translation, sleeping around is a lot more fun when you don't have a boyfriend. I mean, who is she kidding here? I'm in love with the single life is womanese for I am love with bone collecting. As a side note, I love how she keeps trying to convince us that eggplant enthusiasts live these awesome, perfect lives that don't need men. Yet, every other paragraph she's trying to convince us that life is so much better without us. Might I remind Miss Chattel of law number 25 of the 48 Laws of Sharpe. In the end, if a woman is single, it means that she is anything but a catch. If she were a catch, then she'd be caught and kept, not caught and released again and again and again. This again is a woman mistaking a man's sexual attention for a man's desire to commit. They keep getting caught and released, so they think they're a catch. Amanda Chattel has all these clueless broads thinking they're all catches because a bunch of guys want to beat the brakes off of them. But sooner or later, Father Time will collect his debt. Thanks for watching.